If it looks like I'm reading at any point, it's because I will be. I have a lot of notes that I made, so I will stay on track. But before we get into anything else, I just want to say that this isn't about what side of the fence you are on. Okay? This isn't about a fight of red versus blue, and I would like to keep it that way. Regardless of which side of the fence you're on, you are welcome here. With a few caveats. Okay? We don't hurl insults at each other here. We treat each other with kindness and respect. And we do not support the kind of disgusting language we're about to talk about today, or the kinds of people who think that it is okay to casually use it. Conservative media pundit Ann Coulter posted, "We didn't kill enough Indians" on X in response to University of Minnesota professor Melanie Yazzi's comments on decolonization and how it may save the planet. I don't know how anybody here feels about decolonization and what it is. There's a lot of misunderstandings around what decolonization means. I'm more than happy to explain it and talk about it. We can get into it a little bit later. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your feelings on that are, or any topic are. Because when you disagree with somebody, responding by saying that an entire population of people deserve genocide, or to be killed, or more of their people deserve to be killed, is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So let's talk about it a little more. Genocide of Indigenous people. In the Americas, North, Central, and South, before European colonization in 1492, estimates suggest that 75 to 100 million Indigenous people lived across the Western Hemisphere. By the early 1900s, that number dropped to about 4 to 5 million people. It's not enough people that were killed. Causes included violence and massacres, forced removals and slavery, deliberate spread of disease, smallpox-infected blankets, cultural genocide, boarding schools, language bans, land theft. Estimated deaths due to genocide in the Americas, tens of millions, though exact numbers vary due to limited historical records. Worldwide, genocide of Indigenous people has occurred in Africa, Asia, Oceania, and Europe as well. Examples include Aboriginal Australians during colonization, Herero and Narna peoples in Namibia, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of this, Ainu people in Japan, Circassians in Russia. Globally, Indigenous populations have faced systematic violence, displacement, and cultural erasure. Worldwide, Indigenous deaths due to genocide, likely over 100 million across centuries. But you didn't kill enough Indians. Hate crimes and violence against Indigenous people. In North America, the US and Canada, Indigenous people experience higher rates of violent crime than any other racial group. In the US, 1 in 10 Indigenous people are victims of violence annually. Native women are 10 times more likely to be murdered than the national average. Hate crimes against Indigenous people rose 152% in 2020 alone in Canada. 152%. And that's just what was reported. Estimated yearly victims in North America, hundreds of thousands, especially in rural and reservation areas. But you didn't kill enough Indians. Worldwide, hate crimes are underreported globally, but Indigenous communities in Latin America, Asia, and Africa face land-based violence, police brutality, discrimination, and harassment. The OSCE and UN report thousands of incidents annually, but many go underrecorded. Estimated global victims of hate crimes yearly, likely in the millions, though exact numbers are hard to confirm due to underreporting. But you didn't kill enough Indians. Reported versus underreported crime. Most crimes against Indigenous people are never reported due to fear of retaliation, mistrust of police, lack of access to justice systems. In some areas, only 10% of hate crimes are reported. 10%. 10%? And how many numbers have we talked about now? Hundreds of millions? Many victims are misclassified or ignored in official databases. Unreported crimes may outnumber reported ones by 5 to 1 or more. Let that sink in. Unreported crimes may outnumber reported ones by 5 to 1 or more. Comparison to other racial and ethnic groups. Indigenous people face the highest rates of violence per capita in North America. And that's not Indigenous people on Indigenous people crime. We're not fighting each other. Compared to white, Black, Hispanic, and Asian populations, Indigenous people are more likely to be victims of assault, rape, and homicide. Indigenous people are less likely to receive justice or support services. In some U.S. counties, homicide is the leading cause of death for Indigenous youth. one more time for you. In some U.S. counties today, homicide is the leading cause of death for Indigenous youth. Youth. But we didn't kill enough Indians. In simple terms, millions of Indigenous people have died due to genocide, especially in the Americas. Hundreds of thousands face violence and hate crimes every year, every day. Most of these crimes are never reported. And Indigenous people suffer more than any other group. And that's not me saying that their pain doesn't matter, because it does. But how dare you say you didn't kill enough fucking Indians? The system often fails them. The system fails us. The system fails me and my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my relatives. It failed my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandmother, who was sent to a residential school. And my great-great-great-grandmother, who was forced to walk the Trail of Tears from North Carolina to Oklahoma because your greedy fucking ancestors wanted their land. But you didn't kill enough Indians. And all of the other generations of people that were touched and murdered along the way. And those numbers do not even touch the tip of the fucking iceberg. Ann Coulter and her statement are vile and despicable. You do not disagree with what someone is saying and fire shots at an entire nation of people condoning genocide, hate crime, assault, rape, homicide, torture, human trafficking, and violence. You do not dehumanize and diminish an entire population of people and their ancestors, putting them at further risk or further injury in an already challenging and volatile environment. And thank you to our Cherokee chief for inspiring part of that sentence. I'm not here to respond to every single tweet that goes out or statement that goes out saying something bad about Indigenous people, because I would be here every day, all day, saying something. But Coulter has a platform, a big one. And she said this with her whole chest in front of so many people who rallied to support her in her statement. What kind of dystopia are we living in that emboldens this kind of vile, vicious, and forthright hatred? If you or someone you know supports this, supports her, I really implore you to please take a look. Take a look at yourself. Because something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. I wanted to end this with a little poem or quote from another creator, Witchy Twitchy, who put out something on Instagram. We didn't kill enough Indians. You could offer the land every last drop of red blood, and she would still never know you by name. You could erase every moccasin print from her red dirt, and she would still never recognize the sound of your footsteps. You could silence every language and song, and the wind would still never carry your prayers. You could burn every hogan, teepee, and longhouse, and this would still never be your home. You could never kill enough Indians. I really struggled with whether or not to talk about this, because I try really hard to keep politics out of here. And I know that I'm not some massive creator with some big following. I don't know that anything I say is gonna make a difference and anybody's gonna care. But I just want people to stop being so cruel to each other. We don't have to agree on everything, but we don't have to be so awful. We don't. Like I said, if you are able to take a look, oh, I forgot to get rid of that. Okay, well, go away. There's a document for Canva pinned, with all this information about the Oak Ridge fire and how you can help. Anybody should be able to access it. It's through Canva. Everything's links to all the people's Instagram accounts who shared these images with their ways that you can help as well. if you can't donate, you can share the document maybe with people who can. Put it on your Facebook, put it on your X, put it on your Blue Sky, wherever you can. I love you guys. Thank you, Twyla. You guys are the best. Thank you for sitting here and watching me cry. Well, I talked about this. I'm probably gonna need a minute, before we change topics. Also, Racer, I saw your chat about Toonami.